All right, it's PSA time. This is a bulk order. You can see this was this was logged back in December 23rd. Submitted on the 11th, so would have been received 13th, 14th. Took them almost 10 days to log it, and today is May 18th, so it took a while. Oh well. So this is my fourth or fifth PSA submission. I had a collector's club submission. I've had a couple of regular orders. This was my first bulk submission, and just being honest, I sort of stretched it a bit as far as values go. I know that values are supposed to be $99 or under. Some of these in a 9 or a 10 were, even back then, over $100, maybe $200. Others came in well below that, so I figured it was sort of a wash. But the first, I've already opened the boxes up. The first 4 cards were submitted for a buddy of mine, so I'm going to show those first. Got a 2010 Topps Chrome refractor, Giancarlo Stanton. Came back in 8. This is a neat one. 1960 Fleer Gehrig. Came back in 8. The cards I grabbed from him, I went through hundreds, if not thousands, of cards from his collection. The ones I grabbed from him, I told him I thought would be worth grading because they would come back 8s or higher. And I ended up being correct on that. There's a Jeter Bowman rookie, an 8. And then this one spiked recently. Jordan Beam Team. That's the second year of the Beam Team cards. Came back a 9. So he had 4 pretty solid ones. I opened a couple boxes of 89 Fleer baseball, and in each of those boxes, and I think I've got a video on that, in each of those boxes they had 2 Griffies and 2 Ripken errors, and all 4 of each card were, in my opinion, worth grading. So that's a nice one. 10 on the Griffey rookie. 9. 9. And 9. Wish they were all 10s, but to get one was pretty cool. Here are the Ripkens. There we go. Back to a 9. And another 10. If they had all come back 9s, I wouldn't have been surprised. If they had all come back 10s, I wouldn't have been surprised. I could not tell you what the difference is. They were all, I thought, perfectly centered. Corners and edges were good, colors good, so who knows what the difference is. It's kind of, this one doesn't get graded that often. And I mean, obviously due to the foil, but this, I pulled this out of a pack back in 95, 96, and it was in a top loader ever since, so looked good enough to grade, and it was. I opened a ton of 93 score back in 93, and I was making sets. I think I ended up with 3 sets, so I pulled the 2 Jeters out that looked good. One did not look good, so it didn't make the cut, and nice. got 10s. Those are neat. I bought a large collection a few months ago, and I pulled some cards out of sets, including the 84 Fleer Update set. So the good one got an 8. Top to bottom centering was a bit off here. I thought it was an 8 or a 9. Clemens got a 7. Again, top to bottom is a bit off. Left to right on this one is a bit off, but I don't know. To me, 7 seems a bit harsh. I could certainly be convinced otherwise. And then there's my guy Puckett. I PC Puckett, so this will stay with me. I have 3 of these raw, plus this one. This one looked the best, and apparently the best I have is an 8, so here we go. Still sharp. I have probably 20 1985 Topps baseball complete sets. I found 1 Clemens worth submitting, meaning I thought it was a 9 or a 10, and this is a 9. I was really hoping for a 10 there, but I think it was Nolan, Eliteco 3, the other day said he thinks 10s are turned off on this card, so that might be true, because that's a pretty good one. The large collection from a few months ago that had the 84 Fleer Update set also had 3 1982 Topps traded sets. One of the Ripkins had a ding, so that was not worth submitting, but the other 2 look good to me, and we have an 8 and a 9. I would love to know. This one looks really, really good. That's off center, but happy to have a 9. I went to a yard sale last summer, and there was a binder of, I'll say 2010s, you know, 2010, 2011, 12, 13 Topps cards. And I flipped through it, and there was enough in there for me to pay the $20 asking price. But honestly, I didn't look that closely. It was 20 bucks. That's what the guy was asking. I was happy to pay it. But I ended up pulling 8 cards out of that binder to grade. And this one would have been huge, is huge in a 10. Last one sold for like 1,300 bucks. But in a 9, this is still a few $100s. So that ended up being, that's the nicest one out of that binder. But there are other good ones. There's an Arenado X-Fractor. That came back a 10. Guy said he opened blaster boxes, put the cards in pages, and lost interest. So Rendon. Again, I'm only submitting these if I really, with the majority of these, I thought 10s, because some of these are barely worth grading in anything other than a 10. So these are good. There's a 9. This was good. There's the gold Yelich rookie. That's another huge one in a 10. Still pretty good in a 9. And then 2 of the base rookies. These should be, yeah, these, I thought these were perfect, and they are. Well, they're gem. Those are nice. I bought a case of 1991 Pro Line football. You know, because that's what you do when you're bored one night. And the Bill Belichick you buy 91 Pro Line for two reasons. One is the Bill Belichick rookie card. The other is the autographs. The autographs are like one in every 3 boxes. And the Belichick auto is huge money, even raw. But the base cards are throwaways for the most part. I made a set and put that up, and that was really it. But anyway, I pulled, so there's 20 boxes in a case. You average 1 or 2 Belichicks per box. So I think I did end up with 30 Belichicks. The fact that they're borderless at first glance makes a lot of them look like they're perfect, but actually the centering can be obviously off on them. They're cut the same way as any other card would be. So I pulled 4 Belichicks out of there with the expectation that they would be 10s. So a 9 is a bit disappointing. That's better. This is a couple $100 in a 10. And I will be, there we go. I will be disappointed if the others aren't 10 because I was tough on these. There we go. So those were worth doing for 10s. The 9 is almost a wash after you pay to grade. So this is what I'm talking about as far as the declared value. In a 9, this card is $20, $25. In a 10, this is $200 right now. Of course, that's a bit inflated. So, I just don't know. Does PSA care that, you're at $200 for a potential PSA 10? I guess not, because they billed me for the regular bulk order. So that large collection with a bunch of the vintage stuff also had 5 or 6 86 Topps football sets, which is one of my favorite sets. But if you're watching this, you're probably aware that they're extremely condition sensitive. So the only cards I pulled out of those 5 or 6 sets were 2 Jerry Rice rookies. In a 10, the Rice rookie is, $10,000, $12,000 right now, which would be nice, but I don't think this next one is a 10. No, same thing, 8. So, I don't know. This one, see that little bit of edge wear here. I guess that's probably not perfect. They look about the same, and they graded the same, so still worth grading at an 8. This I pulled out of a pack back in '98. One of the rare half point grades that I don't see very often. Good player, good card. Wish it were a 9, but still cool. This came out of a different collection that I bought a few years ago. Had a handful of Brady rookies, but the majority were dinged up a bit, not really taken care of. This one was in a top loader, so looked pretty good, and I'll take a 9. Got on Facebook Marketplace one afternoon and just searched for cards and found a guy who, for lack of a better term, looked like he needed money, and he was selling 2 cards. One was a reprint Jordan rookie, which he was selling as authentic, and the other was a LeBron Topps rookie. So I was, turned off by the fact that I could tell even from a crappy picture that the Jordan wasn't real, but I messaged him and just asked where he got them and stuff like that. Anyway, we ended up meeting. I passed on the Jordan. I didn't tell him it was a replica because that doesn't normally go too well. But the LeBron I thought was legitimate. So I paid him $50 for it. This was like a year ago, which I thought was a good price for me and still pretty fair for him. But that got an 8.5. So this is obviously a bit inflated right now, but happy to have it. Got this at a card show, raw, of course, 5 years ago probably. I remember paying $10 for it. I didn't even look at the condition. I just thought it's a Kobe finest rookie. I don't have one. I like the Lakers. I like Kobe, so I'll pay $10. And I left the peel on, the coating on, because I didn't see anything wrong with it. So, got a 9. The last bit, I think, yes, the last bit is, you saw, I believe, in one of my last videos that I had graded a Jordan sticker and a Jordan rookie. That was part of a complete set that I bought. I went ahead and graded the Jordans, got those back. The rookie was a 7, the sticker was an 8. But I graded some of the other cards as well in this order. So unfortunately, most of the set was off center. This Dr. J looked good. It got an 8. This Drexler rookie looked good. It got a 9. And then I graded all of the stickers. They all looked really good. I did clean the wax off of the backs, which I did a video on. So let's see how they did. I think these are in order. Yep. Kareem got an 8. This card in a 10 is huge. Larry Bird, also an 8. Adrian Dantley, got a 9. Alex English, 9. Dr. J, 9. Hoping for a 10 out of something here. Let's see. Ewing, 9. Off center. Magic, 8. Gosh, these look good. Obviously the centering's off here, but otherwise really, really, really clean. And the story, I don't remember if I told this in a previous video, but the story was pretty funny. This guy that I bought all these cards from collected with his sons back in the 80s and early 90s. And something on this. And they were at a card show here in town and had bought a few baseball cards. They really only collected baseball. And he said they were on their way out of the show. There was a guy, a dealer, packing up who had 3 86 Fleer, hand collated sets with stickers. And he literally flagged this guy down on the way out of the show and said, I just don't want these. Do you want it? $5 a piece? And he said, sure. So he bought all 3 sets for $5 each and put them up. And of course now they're worth a little more. So I bought 1 set from him, and he kept 2. He got back with me after I bought his whole collection except for those 2 Fleer sets that he kept. He got back with me because he graded his Jordans, and one of his Jordan rookies got an 8, the other got a 7, and then the stickers both got 8s. So combine that with my 7 on the rookie and 8 on the sticker, the ones you just saw here. I mean, for being, 33-year-old sets that sat in his closet for this whole time in a regular 200 count box. He said he'd moved 2 or 3 times. I was just afraid they had been jostled around or ruined, but pretty good condition. So that's the order. I just sent in a couple more orders, so maybe by Christmas I'll have another video. Take care.